To speak of fruits of the efforts of putting in emails back and forth with Matt, respecting his schedule. He's a busy family man, he got stuff going on, but he was kind enough to take time out of his busy day with whatever else he does, including family, to come spend a little time with us at SBC. So that's the brief intro that you guys are getting that the other folks do. And then without further ado, I'm not going to wait for everybody else to show everyone because people will be probably straggling it little by little. So one of the things I want to mention is sales welcome SBC students, faculty, and guests to our professional game industry talk. I want to get a feel, since we have a few people here, I was going to do it more of in a general way in terms of raising hands, but I want to get a feel for who's from what departments, just get a sort of idea. Can each of you just take a few seconds? So maybe say your name, what department you're from, and how did you find out about this talk?
Sure. I'm Sarah, and I'm an academic counselor here.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
I just brought my kids.
Great. Okay, good.
Right.
All right. And so you're in the game. Well, they were in the game and they go. You got to get us there, right?
Different majors.
Great. Okay. All right. And then
Honorary, I'm from the MAT department.
Honorary from MAT. Okay.
Yeah,
and your professor told you about it.
Yeah, Julie.
Great. Okay.
I'm James. I work in the computer science department.
James, humble guy. He does a lot to really help the professors there and the department chair who's in now. He does a lot over the last, you've been 12 years maybe? To really get that CS. I mean, I've taken maybe 5 or 6 or 7 programming classes there. James does a great job helping to oversee and run the lab, interacting with professors, staff, faculty, our IT department, and interacting with a lot of students, helping them and stuff. So he does a great job. Thanks for being here, James. And how about any of you there?
Hi, my name is Roman, and I'm basically a computer information systems student here, and so I hope to receive like a associate degree in computer information systems, and then I also do hope to receive like a bachelor's degree in computer science or some other subject that's not kind of relevant to basically computer science.
Thank you very much. And how did you find out about our talk?
He told me about it here.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. And here's
Hi, I'm Owen Hartley. I am studying computer science, and I found out about this talk because I helped coordinate it.
Thank you.
I'm Owen. I'm in the computer science department as well, and I'm part of the CS club, the team programming club, and the video game design club. And I'm general officer for 2 out of 3 of those, so that's how I found out about it.
Wow, thank you. And on the microphone and on our camera there is none other than our buddy Alfred. Alfred, just briefly about you. How did you find out about it?
Hello. I just walked in the CS lab and you guys were talking about it, so I was like, I'm there.
All right.
I'm president of the game development club and treasurer of computer science club.
Right. Alfred, programmer. He's a really humble guy, but programmer extraordinary, and he's willing to do our video print. So thank you. So without further ado, as you all know, it's likely people will be straggling in little by little, but we're going to get going because you guys are all in time. We're not going to hold anything up for them, so we're glad when they arrive. Yes.
I want to grab the mic.
And I should have did that earlier.
It's okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear my voice? All right. So essentially, I'm going to be doing the slides, MC overing all, and then so that frees Matt to focus on the question. So that was our first slide there, welcoming everybody, and formally welcome. Oh, I got it. That's right. I can do start, then click anywhere. There we go. Okay, so this talk, in case anybody somehow doesn't know why they're here, it's mainly to inform more of us to learn about gaming from someone who is a gamer who works in the gaming industry. Who would that be? That is Matt. We have the privilege of having here as our guest speaker. You could see CEO of Game Masons, COO of Tap Tap Games, some incredible stats and information he has. So he's not just somebody who talks it, but he walks it, and he's a UC Berkeley graduate in 08, and we are really privileged. So can we just give a warm clap, help him for Matt? Thank you for being here, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And this is over a view of what our itinerary is for today. So I already did the first part, which is the SBC clubs, faculty are present, and then I introduced the guest speaker, which I just did. So Matt from 3:15-ish till about 4 is going to be talking about things, which I have slides on. And he's already got it. Welcome, folks. He's already got the slides, and So, as part of being human nature, at 4 o'clock, 4:15, we're going to take a brief little break. We're going to have pizza and munchies. That'll give all of us, including Matt, a little bit of a break. After our pizza and munchies for about 15 minutes, we'll regroup in here, and then we'll have a Q&A where you folks will get to ask questions to Matt. So, Matt, I'm going to ask you now, do you prefer that we go through the slides first, which you've already seen, and then students ask you, or how do you want to do that?
Let's do the slides and then move on.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I know you're going to have questions, and I probably will too, but let's just respect Matt's format, and we'll do the slides first, and you guys will all get to see the slides, and then we can ask some questions during the Q&A. Everybody down with that? Okay. Got a few other people. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to introduce yourself really briefly. How about telling us your name, and then maybe how did you hear about this gaming talk? Let's start with you over there. Any of you. It doesn't matter.
My name is Dom. I heard about this like 5 minutes ago in the team programming club.
Cool. All right.
My name is David. I heard about it from the game development club, so I'm the treasurer.
Cool. Okay.
And I'm an actually yes, this time that's all.
Great. Thank you. And about you? Wow, great. We got some faculty and staff. So great. Okay. So I'm not going to go completely again, but just so that you know, we did a welcome intro, which you guys are a part of now. Then we went to the next slide with this talk about, in case somebody landed in the room and don't know why they're here. It's about the gaming industry, and we have somebody from the gaming industry to speak to us. This little bit about Matt. Some great stuff there. And I actually met him maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and been in touch with him here and there a little bit and so on. So UC Berkeley graduated from 2008. And then I just went over the itinerary of what we're going to be doing. And then now, without further ado, I'm going to be asking Matt questions. And yes, he has seen these all. I emailed them ahead of time. And he has a copy of them. So, Matt, either I can ask these or you can just look at them one by one, what's best for you.
Ask them one by one.
Okay, got it. So the first one is, growing up as a child, teen, college student, did you always like gaming?
I think I was pretty normal. I had the start of the NES. I think I was probably 5 or 6 when I got that. Had older brothers, played Mario Brothers, Super Mario. Went through the consoles, just like most people my age, which is starting to get up there. But I wasn't what you would consider a gamer. I mean, I think a lot of people don't consider themselves gamers, but basically everybody on Earth that has a smartphone or a computer is a gamer now. I love playing them, but I wasn't your prototypical, person behind a computer. I mean, I had a early seat, I don't even remember a computer. It wasn't Commodore 64, but it's pretty darn old, Windows 3.1 and stuff, and Duke Nukem, Wolfenstein, did all those, but, pretty. Nothing in my childhood was going to say, "Oh, you're going to run a video game company" or anything like that. So,
great, thank you, Matt. And then, if I get to any question where it seems like you've answered, I'll probably just skip that question. So, all right, what is your high school and college educational background?
I grew up in Palmdale, Lancaster area. I actually finished high school early to become a snowboard instructor. I did that for a couple of years, and then I went to Antelope Valley College, which is the JC out there, the community college out there. Did that in 2 years, and then took another year off to snowboard and to play some poker. And then I eventually made my way to Berkeley, which I graduated with to become a lawyer. Thankfully, I didn't do that, and within a couple of years, I was off and running in kind of business and entrepreneurial endeavors.
All right, thank you, Matt. Next question. What's one of the most fun experiences you had in college that you're able to tell?
Yeah, that's right. This actually, since I imagine everybody here is a CC student, and most of you will probably go on to a 4-year community or a 4-year college, like myself. One thing you're going to notice is that when you get there after, be it you're 20, 21, you've done a couple years here, you got your half your credits knocked out, you're going to go and you're going to find that people have already formed cliques, either from the early dorm days, just being in classes for a couple years. So what I did is I actually started hanging out at it's called the I House at Berkeley, the International House, which was all international students. So I still have a couple of American Berkeley friends, but most of my friends from the university are around the world now. So I don't know if we had a lot of fun in college. They were completely different than my friends from Lancaster. From Norway, from Spain, from China, from Australia. There was people from around the world. So I think looking back on college, that's probably the best experience I had besides some of the stuff I can't talk about. But yeah, just getting to know and expanding my horizons because, most of my friends were just not exactly worldly. Neither was I at the time either.
All right, thank you. The international flavor. Okay. Next question is, what hobbies do you have? For example, hiking, climbing, camping, musical events, etc.
Well, I got 2 kids now, so my hobbies tend to be theirs. But as I kind of mentioned earlier, I still play a pretty competitive game of poker. Played in World Series of Poker, some high dollar entry events. Still play. I just got back from Vegas last week, where I had some meetings, but I still do that pretty regularly, and probably my number one thing that puts a smile on my face besides my kids.
Okay, so I know not to be playing you in a poker game. All right, so next, could you tell us 1 or 2 movies you really like? And could you briefly describe maybe one of your favorite scenes?
Actually, now my daughter is about to turn 7, and we are now we just watched and she's reading Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So that's definitely one of my favorites. We just and my favorite scene is when they first get into the garden with the chocolate fountain and lake. Just watched the one with Timothy Chalamet, which was actually pretty good. A lot better than the Johnny Depp one. It's like the intro story to Willy Wonka. Other than that, I think anything kind of mafia related, any Scorsese movies, just love any of those. Goodfellas, Casino, anything like that. Just enjoy that.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, moving on to our next slide. When did you decide to create or collaborate on designing a game?
It kind of happened natural. I had a friend who was actually much better at computer programming than I was, and I had a little bit more of a business mind than he did. He had already made an app right when the App Store came out. So I don't know how most people don't realize that when the iPhone came out, it did not have an App Store, or at least an open App Store to developers like any of us. But that changed, I think, like 2.5 years after the iPhone. I could be wrong on that, but about 2010, 2011, it opened up, and he had created a photography app, a light meter. And so we started making apps. We made kind of a meme. Well, before memes were big, we made a meme generating app where you could take a photo of somebody and put the meme, the impact font above it and below it and make a meme. Then we discovered Unity, which I'm sure many of you guys have touched and played around with. And we realized that games were, there was a really big Unity community already back in 2011. I think it was Unity 3 at the time that I first downloaded. And we were able to find, we had probably released 50 dumb apps. I mean, really just valueless apps at that time, and making $100 or $150 a day between the two of us. So putting a little food on our plate, but not a lot. And then we discovered Unity, and with about 6 months, we had 3 or 4 games, and it just kind of took off from there. This was about 2012 by then, and just started building from there.
All right, thank you. Very informative. Thank you. All right, so let's see where I leave off. What are some games? What are some main? What are some games you created? Software. You already mentioned that. So, what are some main things to consider to be a successful indie game designer?
Yeah, I mean,
or is it even possible to be an indie game designer nowadays?
There actually, it was very easy when I started. I'm not going to lie. I came in at a very sweet time. Like I said, the App Store had just opened up. There wasn't companies like Supercell or King or Dream Games that are now multi-billion-dollar behemoths with data scientist teams bigger than everybody in this room. But there's still many, many ways to be a successful, developer, indie developer. Steam's probably the best way at this time, releasing stuff there. There's smaller platforms. Pokey's a really one that's coming to the mind. But everybody's going to define success differently. I mean, I unfortunately have to divine it by money in because I have to pay employees. I got to pay my mortgage and my kids' school tuition. But everybody's going to have that different. So I would say and when we actually are doing business development, we actually don't look at the dollar value when we're making decisions. We break down a lot of things such as time spent in game, retention, how long are people sticking around for, how far are they getting in the game. When you start to break down, smaller KPIs, key performance indicators, you could make success much more manageable, and you get, instead of just saying, I want to make $100,000 or $1 million from this game, if you start to say, hey, this game would be great if people get to level 50, if people don't put it down for the next 30 days or 60 days, or they play at least once every 30 days, anything like that. So there is no one true success. That and money, it's going to be, when you first start, like I said, you're going to, even us who are now about a 25, 30 person team, are going against 5,000 persons team. So we're still indie to them. So everything's going to be different, but find what you want to do, what you think is successful, and then try to make that into smaller pieces of, to get to that highest goal.
Wow, thank you, Matt. Very good insight, and that really opened my eyes on some things. Thank you. See, we got 2 more folks in there. Glad you're here. All right, so what are some qualities and skills that game designers need to have to even have a realistic chance of creating a marketable game? And I think you sort of answered some of that, but if you want to add any points onto that last question, that'd be great.
Man, there's been mega hits that I've seen. Actually, I'm trying to what is it? It's at, oh man, I should have gotten the name of that game. It's like an old school, like 30s cartoon. I think it's like Tin Cup, or it's like old school. What's that? Cuphead, yeah. So I'll tell you a story. In 2017, I was in Cologne, Germany at Gamescom, which is the biggest European conference. And I'm meeting with my rep from Microsoft, and I had got to the meeting maybe 10 minutes earlier, and he's meeting with that team. A 5-person team out of Toronto, I believe. And they start to show me the art. And I'm like, this is the dumbest game I've ever seen. These people aren't going to make oh my God, who are these people? And at this time, I'm doing pretty well. The team's cranking, we're making some money and getting a lot of downloads. And I'm a little full myself. And I just see this game, it's like, no way. Then about a month or 2 after it launched, my friend who never talked to me about games in my entire life, never talked to me about my job, never talked to me about anything about that. He's like, have you heard of this game? I was like, and he sent me the link. I was like, I met those people about 4 months ago. He's like, dude, it's awesome. So I looked it up. I think it's $35 million in the first month it made, or something insane like that, first 3 months, something like that. And so even games. I was playing The Tower the other day, which is a idle game. Very simple. It looks like somebody did it in a week. A 2-person team, and you know what? It's cranking right now. It's making money. It's getting, the retention's super high. So I don't let anybody ever say that game's not marketable, that game won't work, because trust me, I've been wrong on a lot of things. And then, sometimes I've seen polished games where I'm like, I'd never compete against them. It looks like 50 people or 100 people made this over a year, and they launch, and no downloads, no revenue. I mean, I don't know if you know who Kurt Schilling is. He's a famous pitcher from the Phillies. After the MLB, he started a game company. Spent $100+ million, and at that time, my 3-person company was making, that he released his game. We were making, much downloads were much higher, revenue was much higher, and trust me, we probably have a couple $100 into software fees and some stock art, and this guy's put in $100 million. So there's no way that you could say this is going to be the winner, this is going to be the loser. You got to trust your gut a little bit. Take honest feedback from people. Put it into hands as quickly as possible. This is probably my biggest tip for anybody, be it games, be it a business idea. Never be afraid to share your idea. People aren't going to steal it. People aren't going to just take it and run with it. It's really hard to start a business, and that's where the real effort comes from. But share your ideas. And listen to the people that you trust, and that's what we do now, and I think it's helping the most.
Wow, I don't know how you guys feel about that. More great insight. Thank you very much, Matt. Wow, really great insight. Okay, so I'll go to the next screen. What are your thoughts on how AI will, and I'll just read these and you can answer them as you see fit, revolutionize the gaming industry, affect the design of games, affect marketing of games, 3D animation of games, and affect indie creators of games? So whatever way you want to answer those.
Well, I mean, we're all a little afraid of it, but we probably all use it at this point. AI, I kind of likened it to a steroid from when I was in high school and college. Steroids were kind of a bit of a rage, and no pun intended. With a lot of my friends, I went to school with a lot of good athletes, and a lot of them took the shortcut, which was steroids. And a lot of people that did take them, or most of them, used them to their benefit. But a lot of people thought they could take a steroid, not hit the gym, not hit the work on their footwork if they're a quarterback, or take batting practice. You still have to learn the fundamentals of everything that you do, and no drug, no AI tool is gonna just make you an instant success. You're probably gonna hear, oh, this guy never picked up a coding thing and made $1 billion with this AI tool. That's gonna be 1 in a billion people. That's gonna be 1 in a million businesses or ideas that got fleshed out through AI. Having a strong base and working on your craft, be it animation, be it coding, be it game design, you're going to need AI. You're going to use AI, which is great. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to be I've worked, until I had kids, I was probably working 100 hours a week, for 10 straight years, building a company from, 8 a.m. till about midnight every day, with a few breaks here and there, but roughly not. I mean, I probably worked 500-600 days in a row at one point. AI is going to hopefully allow you guys not to do that. Hopefully you could, put things to work because a lot of that was just meaningless tasks where you could put a monkey to do it, and it was just, I didn't structure this data correctly, or I didn't do, assign this variable or tag to this one game object, and I got to go through it. So don't be afraid to use it, but still learn your bases, still work out, still build the skills, and AI will just be a helper. And that's my take. I think, a couple years into using it from all of our developers, that's how they're kind of seeing it. But I can't guarantee it's moving fast, and I'm not going to tell you that's exactly how it's going to work out in 1 to 2 years, because I think it's all going to be a lot different in 1 or 2 years.
Wow, thank you, Matt. It's almost seems like maybe better to think of AI as a tool to go along with helping for either monotonous tasks or tasks that are repetitively done, but still using humans to do the creative thinking to come up with stuff. So
I haven't seen anything from AI that makes it going to replace just brilliant game design. It reinforces, it's AI seems pretty positive when you talk, when you're chatting with it. It's not going to it won't give you the you got to fix a lot of things in your game. Your game's not going to work out exactly how it is when you start the design. I actually was just working on code that I gave it to a friend who I trust, who's obscenely good game designer, and he's like, dude, this is boring. And I've been working with AI for the last 8 or 9 months on this project, and it hadn't told me that. And once he told me that, I said, wow, I've been feeling that too. No, so it's still going to take a human touch, I don't know if AI knows what fun is. It probably thinks it knows what fun is or beauty is or anything like that. But getting games inside people's hands into, be it your grandma or another game designer that you trust and respect. AI doesn't do that. I don't think it's going to be doing that anytime soon, but it can help you label a game object really, really fast, which, trust me, I've spent days, going through 200,000 objects within a scene trying to find these certain object and whatever it is. But so let it do that. You do the fun, you do the creative part, you do the human part, and I don't see it taking that job anytime soon.
all right, wow. Again, very good insight. Thank you, Matt. So our next slide here is what are some challenges, pitfalls that you and or some game designers you know of have had to deal with?
Well, I mean, right now, so I started. I've never really worked for a tech company, never worked for a gaming company, and so I have probably learned everything the hardest way possible. A lot of it using my own money. So I would say the one thing I kind of wish I had done is seen how it doesn't have to be. You don't have to go work for EA or Scopely or the biggest baddest companies around or the biggest budgeted companies around. But I would definitely create a network. Try, and maybe you have the gusto to go start a game, and you're finding some success monetarily, or at least to give you what you need professionally. But I wish I would have probably started off with a small company. There's a lot of smart people in this world. I kind of thought I was smarter than a lot of them, and I think I probably would have learned earlier and if I had kind of listened to people, got a little mentorship. So never be afraid to go after that. It's so valuable. It's great to stay in, to get it from professors or, people that work within the colleges or universities. But there's also a lot of smart business people that, if you want to make a go of this, and that mortgage comes, that health insurance benefits from your parents runs out, and you got to start paying for that, rent, yada, whatever it is, vacations that you want to take, food on the plate. It does become a business, and so learn from people that have done it. And I wish I had probably done that and not probably wasted a good 5+ years of. And we were making money, but I didn't know what to do with the money that we were making. So we wasted a lot of that. So it's not just how to make money, but it's like, what do you do when you're successful? What's the next steps? Do you put it into a new game? Do you pay yourself back for the previous 3 years you didn't make? But definitely, get some mentorship on the business side if this is what you want to do professionally.
Wow. Thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate everything. Okay. What are some fun gaming or tech conferences? You mentioned one, but I'll just read the question anyway. What are some fun gaming or tech conferences you've attended, either as a college student or as an accomplished game designer?
Yeah, so like I said, in college, the App Store didn't even exist when I graduated. The iPhone came out, I think, my senior year. So I didn't know I was going to be going into this field in college, but 4 years later, I was full-fledged mobile game designer. So this all into my professional life. The big one for the development side is GDC up in San Francisco every March. I think outside of COVID, I've been there since 2014. I've been to Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, which is a little different. It's got to be the biggest convention center on earth, but it's becoming, especially this year, was the epicenter of the world game developing center. That was a lot of fun. Germany's just a lot of fun. A little bit more international than GDC. Used to go to what's a big one? It's no longer open. Out of LA. E3, yeah, thank you. Used to go to E3 every year. Always fun. They never had a great mobile, area, but always great to meet up with old friends. But one of the coolest things, not really a conference, but when I was probably the second year in the industry or where we were making money, I got to attend something called Chartboost University. Chartboost is an ad network that we all know and hate, but Chartboost was based in San Francisco. They took, I think it was about 5 teams from around the world. So there was a couple teams from South, 1 or 2 from South America, 1 or 2 from Europe, and 1 or 2 from the U.S. And they brought us all in, put us in hotels for a week or 2 weeks right before GDC. They brought in game designers from art designers from the biggest San Francisco studios and beyond. Help us redefine the game. We actually never launched a game that we were working on there. It's called Hot Rod Hustle. It was kind of a game. You fix up your cards and you'll be able to race your pink slips online. Never released it because my partner and I broke up not too far after that. But that was one of the cooler experience. It came from a failed GoFundMe experiment. They reached out to us, saw that we didn't reach our goal, and said, "Hey, we'll help you get there," which was pretty crazy. Just that they found that somebody from the company found that. But learned a lot. Still have friends from over 10 years from those 2 weeks. A lot of the people still in the gaming industry that and just feel very fortunate that I got to do that so long ago.
Wow, thank you, Matt. How can we buy any of your games or your company's games?
You don't have to buy; they're always free. So yeah, we're wrapping up our contract with the AEW Rise to the Top, which is, I don't know if anybody's any wrestling fans here, but AEW is a WWE competitor. So we made one of their games, Idle Game. Went okay, didn't do great. About 4 months ago, we released War of Nova, which is a big RPG, if you're into that. Really good talent. I'm not the owner of that, but I was a design consultant. And then we have coming out soon is Stumble Golf. So if anybody's friends or fans of Stumble Guys, just imagine that, but playing golf through courses very similar. So look for that. Hopefully by the first part of the year, January, February, that will be out.
Wow, great, thank you. And then our next slide is also Q&A. We are supposed to have pizza. Is the pizza here yet? It is or not? Not yet? So tell you what, we're going to make an adjustment if it's okay with all you guys. Essentially, we're going to have about a 15-minute break, then do our Q&A with pizza so that we can keep everything going on. Let's just go on and do our Q&A now, and then hopefully that'll give time for the pizza to be here. Is everybody pretty much okay with that? All right. So we're going to do a Q&A now, which means if you want to speak, either just stand up or something, or you come for whatever you want to do. And you all are allowed to have questions. I'll put my microphone down. Actually, what I'll probably do, you can hear everybody, right? Oh, yeah. So make sure you speak loud enough so that Matt can hear you. But wherever you want, just raise your hand and stand up or sit down, whatever you're comfortable. But just raise your hand so we know and just You probably don't have any questions for me, but everybody's questions for Matt, so just ask Matt any questions you want. First of all, at least say your name.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm a full engineering major, but I'm also interested in game design. And my question is, you mentioned when you found success, you didn't super know what to do with the money. And I'm wondering, now that you're more experienced, like going back, what would you change there? Like, what's your advice there, finding success?
Man, what would I do with the money? I mean, what we did is we tried to build more games. I think, and this was kind of the shift between kind of a packaged product that you guys are probably a lot younger than me, but you know, when I grew up, you'd make one game and you put it into a cartridge or CD, and it was dead. I mean, once it went out, there was no live ops. There was no event system within it. So I had that mentality at the time, and I think my competitors that are now doing much better, that group, that were 5 or 10 or 20 people at the time and that are 500 head count now, they realized that it wasn't about SKUs. We'd call a game a SKU. It was about creating an ecosystem for the games, and a system that kept people around, kept people interested, adding content. So I probably wish I would have done that as opposed to try to make 5 games, just had one really successful game. Because I mean, some of these games that we're still playing, Clash of Clans, anything from Supercell. I mean, Candy Crush was on Facebook before. Not that you guys all want to make Candy Crush, but these games are alive, and these games are very complicated systems with a lot of investment in them. And I probably wish I would have done something like that, as opposed to just trying to make more and more games and try to be more, 10 games was it. We didn't have the head count. We didn't have the capability. It got very complicated. And it's also now with marketing games, especially on mobile, it's so expensive to acquire a user, because when was the last time you guys went to the App Store? When you first got an iPhone, you'd probably venture into the App Store pretty often. But nobody does that anymore. They find their games either from word of mouth, maybe Discord, but a lot of the times, especially your parents are probably finding it through ads from their, Candy Crushing days. So that's how they find new games. And so it's keeping people in a game, building a really cool system that ensures long-term success.
So I've been hearing recently that obviously scope is a very important part about how you go about making a game, but also in how you measure the success of it. And so I'm curious how the scope of the games that you're trying to make, like what your thoughts are on scope and success and how that goes into the equation.
Yeah, I think you have to determine what's realistic. I mean, throughout 15, maybe 20 years of entrepreneurship, people have pitched me ideas. We're going to take on Facebook, or we're going to take. I was like, this is 10 years after Facebook launched, and with probably 100 billion human hours into the system, you're not going to take that on. So realize if it's a team of 2 people, 3 people, you're not. I wouldn't say you're not going to be that. Don't start with I'm going to take on what's a really cool game, Clash of Clans. That's probably 10 million human hours of work in there, over 10 years. So say, what can we do? What are our strengths? And you build from there. And like I said, these games are alive. You'll find success, and once you find success, you could iterate small. And then find what works. There's so many tools. We run obscenely complicated A/B tests in some of our games. But the tools are there free from most analytic systems. If you could get the traction, just a little bit of audience, those A/B tests will allow you to build that scope out. Be like, oh wow, nobody's even touching, and just measure everything too. Measure all your we put half of our sprint or 6-month sprint into this new multiplayer system. Well, nobody's playing it. Well, let's figure out, it's very obvious. People touch this button, they play it one time, they leave. Or, nobody's touched that button. Maybe we didn't do a good job showing that button off. So scope let the data tell you, have a goal, realistic, have dreams, but have a goal that's realistic, and start there, and then measure everything. Measure, and the measurement, the data will tell you, wow, people don't like that, or people don't know about that, or people got really bored of that. So then use your brain that AI doesn't have, why that's happening, and usually it's better chance of success.
So as far as getting to the release to then from there do the analytics, how do you think about the scope of I guess maybe more than a minimum viable product, but where you would go to start doing the analytics?
Yeah, I mean, you eventually have to hit that go button, right? I can't tell you. I mean, luckily it's nice not having a reputation. I mean, you guys could, and anybody can, start, SBCC games and, be behind or whatever, beachside games or whatever it is. And you don't have a reputation. If it sucks, guess what? You start beachside 2 games and you go on from there. So don't be afraid to release product. Like I said, people can steal your ideas, but if somebody's already stealing your idea, you're making money. You're already successful. You're already out in front of them. There's a game I'm playing right now, very simple game called Arrows, and game, it's just beautifully made. It's very, very, very simplistic, but guess what? They're making $40,000-$50,000 a day, and with 30 competitors, but they're out first. Their idea is the best. They did the best execution because they didn't make it in 2 weeks. I could probably put this game together in 2 weeks, but it wouldn't be the beauty. It wouldn't be that. So never be afraid to put that idea out there, put the game out there, and you already, if somebody does come and copy you or something, anything like that, you're already ahead of them, 6 months, a year ahead of them. You get to put the finesse in there. They're just trying to catch that loop, trying to catch the very basic mechanics, and either that or they have a team of 100, but I doubt they're going to be, somebody that big to be stealing, anybody's idea. So just don't be afraid. Just get it out there. But you do have to. You can't be afraid of that. That hitting that button. It's going to happen. You want it to happen, and hopefully you've done enough scoping out and preparation that at least know where, if you succeed, why you succeeded, and if you failed, why you failed. So just don't be afraid and just do it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I'm Gabriella, and I had a question, kind of following up with Thomas's question, but also kind of here too, of how much do indie game devs rely on marketing through influencers, through Twitch or things like that, or how do things really? What do you think would be a good idea for someone here in this room that's I do want to make a game, but that big promotion part is really hard, right? Because you don't have GameStop anymore to just walk in and find the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part of the gaming industry right now. I mean, it's 95% of the gaming industry right now. And it's kind of sad because a lot of the great ideas, some of the great indie teams are suffering because of that. I'm a little too old to know a lot about influencers. We have somebody in marketing that does that. That's in their 20s and not their 40s. But we use user acquisition channels. You've seen them. You've hated them. You've clicked through them. But any ads that you see in games, that all gets measured. So if we go and spend $10,000, we know our ROI within day 1 ROI, day 7, 30, 90, 180, 360. So marketing's never going to be free, even if, unless you're an influencer yourself or partner with an influencer, which you could possibly happen. They're going to want a cut of the pie. They're going to want theirs. It's not my specialty by any means, but I know that it's happening. So if you have it's helpful to have a game, if you do have a niche game or when we're making a golf game, right? I know there's a couple of really big golf influencers. If we are planning on going that route, we would go there, as opposed to a generic influencer that does, pranks or something like that. Sorry, I don't know anything about influencers. But yeah, so yeah, have a plan, have a, and you never know. I mean, marketing's obscenely important. It's so hard to get a game out. We spent, the last project I partnered with was a 8-figure budget. By the time we were done, we didn't have any marketing money. So, and trust me, we're not getting, maybe we'll get 8 figures back eventually, but it's, we needed another 10 plus million to market it. And this is a bigger company than just mine. We were a small part of it, but, it's just, think of when you are, and this goes for anybody, when you are thinking about getting that project out there, luck's great, but it doesn't always work. Not only there, so have some sort of plan. And there are, there's lots of different ways that you could hack it until you, until you establish a reputation, or until you get KPIs back. Be it a mobile game that's, your game is making money, then you go to a publisher, like the wrestling game. We made the game. A publisher is the one that's doing all the marketing alongside the TV show. Start a game, but during that process, it's one of the main things you're going to think about is how do I get this out there? Who's going to want to play this? How do I talk to them? How do I let them know? Because, like I said, I mean, you guys have played too young, but when was the last time you guys downloaded organically, went into the App Store, downloaded a game that nobody told you about that you just wanted to play? I mean, 6 months? Anybody in the last 6 months? 1 or 2 people? That it doesn't happen. So, but probably everybody's played a game in the last 6 months that their friends told them about, or maybe they saw on Facebook or TikTok, or whatever the other ones are. Yeah. So, you do have to have a plan for that at the beginning. And I wouldn't say build a game around that, but know that it's going to go hand in hand.
Yeah, I do have a question. Sorry, because you talked about marketing. So I have 2 questions. My first question is what do you think is the most cost-effective marketing channel in 2025? That's my first question. And my second question is, do you think it is possible to have a successful marketing strategy or on TikTok and YouTube without any advertising budget? What do you think?
I don't think anybody's going to do anything for free. I mean, nobody here probably likes working for free. Influencers, as they become bigger influencers that can actually probably help you scale a game, are going to want their share. It's never a bad thing to partner with people if money's not there. Add a rev share. Go into talk to somebody from the financial club or or the business club how do you start to build out these companies that allow, shares to be given out or anything like that. So there is no cost, there's obviously cheaper ways to get installs, but there's no guarantee that it's going to work. You could start with Facebook because you got very low minimum spends. $5, $10, $20 a day. Google AdWords that would show up on Google Ad Mob, which is the Google ads you see on your if you're playing a game, a hyper casual game, a casual game that shows ads. You could set really low minimums, so $100, $200. Sometimes if you put down $200, they'll give you $200, and you could get certain games can get a couple installs for $1. Probably not realistically anymore, but you could get a decent enough amount of traffic. Oh, people are actually playing our game. Retention sticky. Wow, you could put this data into ChatGPT, load it in, and it'll tell you when you're going to make your money back off that. And not we have data people to do that, but you could find out really quickly with just not that $100 or $200 not a lot of money for, it was a lot for when I was in college, but if you want to start a business, you're going to have to start putting some of this down. But Facebook and Google is probably the two places that you could start with very low thresholds.
And I just have one follow-up question. So basically, you did mention Google Ads and Facebook Ads, and I did read on the internet that for some companies and many companies, Facebook Ads are actually more cost-effective than actually search ads on Google. So I wonder, do you think you can say that Facebook Ads is basically the most cost-effective type of marketing for gaming?
For entry-level budgets, yeah. We use one called App Loving, but it's six-figure a month spend that you have to do. So, but yeah, I mean, you could for Facebook, it's the best for targeting, easiest, lowest entry to barrier of coming up with creatives. Very big market. And I could probably teach a course on this. It's one of my specialties. But all the things you need to do, Facebook's going to be the lowest barrier entry and the cheapest for what probably everybody here wants to do is to see what the game is. What happens when people play the game that's not your family and friends. So the general public, yeah, they're probably the cheapest to get to the general public.
Thank you.
What tools does your company use to make games now? Like game engines, photo editing, 3D modeling, anything like that?
Yeah, so we're Unity. Don't see that changing anytime soon. The engineers all tinker with everything else, but when the contract gets signed or when we hire them, everybody's got to know Unity. For 3D modeling, it's a little bit of everything. Depending how complicated what we're doing. Working with the team, it was a game, and then actually I might need to cut that out of this, but yeah, it was supposed to be. We had to get rid of the IP very quickly, so we hired a whole contract team. They came in, with all 3D Studio Max. They had, we were in a tight deadline there, and so there's no this is gonna be the tool that everybody's gonna use. Unity's probably the best. If you're looking for a entry level job, Unity's gonna be the best. Be it if you're an animator, if you're a coder, technical artist, and then art's going to be probably an Adobe product.
How do you balance between the game that you want to build and the one that the masses want to play?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest, and that's why I think about everybody know who Supercell is, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. They only release 1 out of 10 games they make. So they have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of ideas. You have a lot of ideas. They're hard to make hits out of. So and depending how you're going to monetize it, be it through ads, through in-app purchases, or just a straight up upfront cost. That's going to be a big design factor. I don't like to put ads in my games. Trust me, it's not fun. But we also make a lot of money from them. But the game itself, we take a little bit what's working, looking at be it art style, game loops. And we kind of built from there. We're trying to get into more IP based with brands. Why we did AEW, trying to get some larger, having them do a lot of the marketing. So, not that we're talking to these people, but if we were talking to the Simpsons or something like that, we would have to make a Simpsons based game. We're doing that because we think the Simpsons would help sell a game. Then we get to have fun with a game, but it's probably not if, somebody came down and gave me $10 million and said, make a game, I wouldn't make a Simpsons game, right? So it's just, it's like anything. It's a trade-off, and, at the end of the day, we have to make money. That's...
So back to the question about software. In the club, we've run a workshop on Godot, and that's kind of like the thing that we've been using. And that was partly spurred by all the Unity turmoil that was going on a few years ago. Did that affect you guys at all with Unity? And have you considered Godot at all?
No, we are actually already in contact with Unity, and what that was they have something called Level Play, which is a mediation service. Like that's what shows ads. So if you actually had that, if you were using that, you weren't going to pay the runtime fee. That was a major play. There's a company called AppLoving, which is a main mediator. A mediator is a system that allows real-time bidding for ads. So you have a mediator and you have 5 networks: AppLoving, IronSource, Unity, Google AdMobs, Mintegral, and they're going to do an auction, real-time auction in split seconds. Tell these ad networks I have Matt from Santa Barbara, most likely 40 years old. How much are you going to pay out to show this one person ad? So it's a very valuable tool. It kind of allows you to control user acquisition, the mobile markets. So that's what that was all about. If you switched to Level Play, you weren't going to pay it, and we knew that, so we didn't worry about it. But yeah, that was a major shift. It's died down. I wouldn't worry about it anymore right now. Good to be, have a full breadth in any engine, especially if you're going to not be an indie or be the studio head or owner. It's good to have every tool at your disposal, or at least understanding of it. I've never opened Godot, so.
Yeah, so I teach the game design course here at City College. I have a lot of students who are asking me, what is the best way I can break into the games industry? Is it to pursue a 4-year college degree in game design, or maybe to go to a more specialized game school, or just to work on a portfolio piece? And my question for you is, what are your thoughts on that? And also, what do you look for on the resumes of applicants who are trying to pursue a career in game design?
So my partner does most of the hiring, but I would say, we searched high and low on LinkedIn, and seen people's work, just to know that somebody could get a game to compile is actually a pretty amazing thing. It's not it's an easy thing to do after a year, but and then to host it online, it just shows that you're after it, as opposed to, I just wanted to be this or something like that. So getting things out there, especially art and animation, very easy clips to share on LinkedIn or at least in ArtStation, all the portfolio sharing sites. Trust me, there's studio heads crawling those things, looking for them. We don't have a college degree minimum. Sometimes people are just really good. Sometimes, a lot of the times, if you don't have any type of pedigree at all or nothing to show, you're going to start off in QA, and you're going to build from there. Honestly, QA is probably my favorite thing. I love to debug things. It's probably what I'm best at. It's there's no easy one path for anybody. I always say get a 4-year degree just because it gives you some stability in life, but in the industry. But that's kind of changing too. You and I probably roughly the same age, and that was probably true when we were in college. It's probably changed a lot since then. So, but get your work out there. Number one thing, 100%.
Hi, my name is Gustavo. I have a question. So knowing everything that you now know about the industry and how the industry works, let's say you were to hit the reset switch and you would go back.
I do this all the time.
You would go back in time, but in today's world, how would you how would you go about getting to the state of computer?
Yeah, I showed 50 million downloads. That was 15-year career, that's not possible right now without super user acquisition. I mean, that was, a lot of that was luck, to be perfectly honest with you. So that doesn't it really exist anymore. I personally, what I'm good at is focusing on the data. That's what I like to do. Trying to find nuggets in there. I would have leaned much harder into that because we were just getting lucky for the first half of my career. It's gotten much harder. I mean, like I said, some of these companies have user acquisition budgets the size of small nations. I'm not joking. Like hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year from one company spent for ads that we all love and watch. So if I was going to start my own company, I would team up with a couple of 5 people, good project manager, a couple of good developers, and 2 great artists. But I would be and maybe couple game designer, but I personally be focusing on how to finding what's working. Why is it working? What's working? The business insights, consumer insights. But we still have to get a product out there, and so that's what I always say. Like, I'm not saying you're going to get lucky or you won't get lucky, but you won't do anything if you don't have something out there. But if I had to start over, I would have started with a company. I would have probably went to start it. If I had to start today, I wouldn't start my own company. That's just the truth. I'm also 40-something years old with a mortgage and kids. But I guess if I was 22 out of college, I would say get a little institutional knowledge from smart players and go from there.
I'm Z. I go to school here for computer engineering, and I was wondering, you mentioned kind of the word product a lot, and I'm curious, like, what does a product kind of look like, whether it's finished or unfinished? You're saying, like, get a product in front of people, and it's something I personally struggle with a lot is, what does that really look like?
Well, that's what I was kind of saying. It's hard to get that out. Like, I mean, if there's people that, be it creating computer code for whatever system or game, you probably have 100 different folders of games and of halfway built websites. So the product is something that you could put into your neighbor's hands, and it would they could give you feedback, and you could put into a stranger's hands, and they're not going to be like, this is broken. It's something that's going to work how you intended it to work. So getting that product out is very important. I mean, I hate it, but I love to watch people play my games, like when it's out. I mean, because the product is never, especially when I was doing most of the programming myself, I didn't have anybody to kind of help me back it up and flesh out real ideas. And this is a weird thing. I'm left-handed, so for the first 4 years of my development, like with my partner, everything was backwards. Like all the play buttons were on the left-handed side. So that's when you with a product, it can't be that way. If you want it to be successful, it has to be it has to the general public has to be able to know that what you want it to do, what it's doing, and it's got to do that, right? So that's probably what a product is in my head.
So paraphrasing, kind of accessible and functional. And
Yeah.
Be able to get feedback.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I was wondering regarding, you brought up it's important to maybe start a small company and there you can get mentorship. But I was wondering how many people at your company are open to mentoring through things like LinkedIn and stuff with students? How common is that?
You'd be shocked. I mean, you could reach out to anybody. I still reach out to people that are super successful, even much more successful than I am. Most of my team is actually in Lahore, Pakistan, and then in Eastern Europe. So they have a very different mentality than maybe American entrepreneurship that you'd see. But you'd be shocked. I mean, I get emails through LinkedIn all the time, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't responded to every single one of them because sometimes you're just busy that day, and then 3 months later you realize, oh, I forgot that, because you had to go back and to send a LinkedIn message. Feel a little bad, but you'd be shocked. People will respond.
All right, so we can take a few more questions. We're waiting for our pizza to get here. So what we're going to do is we can. Oh yeah, you can go on. The pizza is here. You want to bring it in? All right. So what we're going to do? First of all, let me go back to here. We are going to go to the correct slide, which is right here. Matt, on behalf of SBCC students, faculty, and SBCC clubs, which many are represented here. Thank you for taking the time to talk and answer questions for us and students at this SBCC Gamer Talk lecture. So the talk is officially over. Matt has agreed to stay with us, enjoy pizza. So right now it's bathroom break, get some pizza and so on. So we're going to stop the recording, but if Matt doesn't mind, while we're